to Angela Wade, to Riley Morse, to Martha Burkmark, and to all here constituting the Mississippi Center for Justice. I'm so privileged to be here and to have been invited to give an award to, I believe, the first ever organization to have ever been invited to receive an award as a champion for justice. And that is the veterans of the Mississippi Civil Rights Movement. Please give them an applause. Now, these are the ones who stood in the breach. These are the ones that stood against oppression. These are the ones that constitute the core of the resistance. And you know them, you know their names. All you have to do is go a few blocks from here to the Mississippi Civil Rights Museum. And you can see the mug shots. And they all look so young. They're steely-eyed and they are determined. But they knew they had to stand in the breach and do everything that needed to be done. They were beaten. They were whipped. They were bitten by dogs. They were snatched and taken to Parchment Penitentiary and put in cells, sometimes by themselves. And so, but they survived. And they have names. And you know all of those names. Some of them are here tonight. Hollis Watkins and Hezekiah Watkins. If you go look at those mugshots, you'll see John Lewis's face up there. There's just so many more that just suffered and bled and suffered through all the atrocities and the indignities. And so that's why it's significant that they receive this award tonight, because we have to keep this flame alive. We have to make sure that this legacy that they watered is nourished. And we have to make sure that we continue to tell their story. If you look in your program regarding this particular organization, you see that in partnership with the Mississippi Center for Justice, they have a significant program. And that is to take students from all over Mississippi, usually in middle school, elementary school, and high school, and bring them to tour the Mississippi Civil Rights Museum. I was reading, when the students come and tour the museum, they're supposed to go back to their classroom and write thank yous to whoever shepherded them on their tour. So I got a packet that I read through today in preparation for this dinner tonight, and I read one that just made me chuckle. There was a fifth grader from Indianola thanking, the tour guide for showing her the Klan robes and how she was afraid to go into the Emmett Till exhibit. And then she finished with a sincere thank you to the gentleman who suffered all of those atrocities so many hundreds of years ago. Hundreds of years ago, but in the span of time, these are all recent experiences, all the indignities, all the atrocities. And if we are not vigilant, all of those things will be repeated again. So I'm so proud to stand here and to be able to give this award to the Mississippi Civil Rights Movement veterans. And I was asked to say a word about another civil rights icon, someone not from Mississippi, but someone who did similar work in the state of Maryland, Representative Elijah Cummings. Now, I have to get a bit personal tonight because Elijah Cummings was a personal friend of mine. We went to Howard University, and he was 2 years ahead of me. When I got there as a freshman, Elijah was already a junior. And he was the big man on campus because he was the head of liberal arts student council, the student organization with the largest budget. They put on all the concerts and you get all the ladies. So I decided that I wanted to run for student office one day. And so I just attached myself as somewhat of a mentee to Elijah Cummings. And he took me on, and I ran the next year for treasurer of Liberal Arts Student Council and won. But I looked and I saw in Elijah examples. He had all the attributes of a successful politician, particularly as it relates to body parts. He had a smart brain. He had a golden tongue, but he had a heart for service. So he went on from Howard University, and then he went into law practice in Baltimore, and then he went on from there to run for office, becoming the pro tem speaker of the Maryland House of Delegates. And then when Kwesi Mfume resigned to become head of the NAACP, Elijah stepped up and was elected to a congressional seat for Maryland. And the leadership recognized his qualities and elected him as chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus, but then later on as chairman and vice chairman of the House Oversight Committee. It is such a shame that at age 68, all the work he did providing oversight to the executive branch, all the work he did to investigate 45, everything he did to bring to fruition what I believe will be the impeachment of number 45. So Elijah Cummings is going to be sorely, sorely missed. So for all the civil rights icons and those who labored for equal justice and civil rights, we remember Elijah Cummings, and yet we celebrate tonight those who are here, the veterans of the Mississippi Civil Rights Movement. And I want to ask two to come to the stage. Cynthia Goodlow Palmer and Hollis Watkins, please come to the stage. And while they are coming, I don't know if you could turn the house lights on, I don't know, but, because I can't see. I know there are 2 or 3 tables of veterans of the Mississippi Civil Rights Movement. Please stand. Here.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm indeed honored to stand beside Chairman Hollis Watkins and accept this award on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Veterans of the Mississippi Civil Rights Movement, Incorporated, and all of our treasured civil rights veterans here tonight. As the Executive Director, my life has been tremendously enriched to have had the opportunity to meet, befriend, and work alongside our courageous sheroes and heroes. I would just like to mention 3 names. The late Mr. Jimmy Travis, our first chairman. The late Mr. Owen Brooks, our first executive director. And the late Mr. Jesse Harris, an original founding board member. Thank you, Mississippi Center for Justice, for honoring the veterans of the Mississippi Civil Rights Movement. May God richly bless each of you here tonight.
I just want to say thanks to all of you who have participated in doing that which was necessary to bring about a little more peace and a little more justice in the world that we are living in. We must not leave our children by the wayside. We must have them with us as we go and do the work that need to be done. And if we do that, we will see we will have a bigger, a better, a stronger community to deal with the issues that we are going to be confronted with as we go through this life. So young people, I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you. It's time for you to come in from out of the weather on the inside, where peace and justice can take place among us, and we can spread it throughout our communities, counties, and the world as a whole. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay?